What is going on, everybody? I am the Cross Celtic coming to you from the middle of nowhere, fucking cornfield, Iowa. We are going to be doing a show today with my friend David coming out of Brooklyn, where we are going to sit around and talk about whatever the fuck we want. Could be sports, could be video games, could be life. We just go with
Eh,
it. Funny as hell. Just opened up my web browser. Fucking first thing I see, why John Boyega won't return to the Star Wars franchise.
well, they did him pretty dirty. I mean, they did him pretty dirty.
Oh,
Um,
it was bad.
yeah, they really didn't do anything good for him in the story. They kind of tagged along. They made him into a simp. It was very bad.
I heard he was just a big joke through the whole thing. I mean, yeah, in the first one, he was kind of like, there was nothing really to make me, take interest into the character, really, that went on. And then I heard it just got worse after the first one. I'm glad I didn't get to go see, which I'm 100% glad that you got to go see.
Yeah, the thing about John Boy, what they did to him too, that was pretty messed up, is they made him into a simp. Like he just spent the whole thing doing anything and everything for Ray, and then Ray just ignores him the whole time, and he never finds his voice. It was pretty bad.
Then he ends up getting kissed against his will
Oh yeah,
after he
by that
tries to
Asian girl.
sacrifice himself. Yeah, and me
Rose
too,
Tico.
me too movement right there. I've seen the
No, but
clip.
it's crazy, it really is. But not just that, you never got to see the last one of the trilogy. But what was bizarre about the last one, and you're gonna find this amusing probably, but the last one found another love interest for Finn, and it was a black girl this time. And I feel like they did that. I don't know why they did it. It's very confusing. He was interested in Ray, Rose Tico was interested in him, and then he ended up going off with this girl at the end, to help her on her adventure. She was freeing slaves essentially, and it was very bizarre the whole thing. Like they were very all over the place with Finn. They gave him no respect. And so I don't
Makes a
blame
whole lot
the
of
actor for doing the
sense.
actor.
Way to do it,
It,
J.J. Abrams. Way to do it.
yeah, he messed up. He didn't mess up as bad as this guy who sexually assaulted Finn. That was the Ryan Johnson. But definitely was rough.
It reminds me of when fucking The Wedding Singer, Adam Sandler, back in the day when he was fucking losing his mind at the wedding and was drunk off his ass trying to trying to sing at a wedding, and he was like, he loves her, but she loves this guy right here.
That's right. That's the way it is sometimes. And I will say that's realistic, but that's a pretty shit realism.
See, I'd like a little bit of fantasy in my fantasy movies.
That's the best quote I've heard in a long time. I like fantasy in my fantasy films. That's great. That's great, man.
I'm not gonna lie, I didn't come up with that. That was Robot Head, who I've told you to check out on YouTube. He's fucking hilarious. That's what he said when I think he was I want to say it was The Last
Yeah, that's
Jedi. When he was tearing apart The Last Jedi, he was like, "Hey Ryan, I like a little fantasy in my fantasy films, please." It was Ryan or JJ. Might have been talking to the both of them. Either way, it was bad.
is a depressing situation. All that very depressing.
Yeah, this article is coming from Film. It says John Boyega's debut as Finn in 2015 Star Wars The Force Awakens was a momentous occasion for the franchise. I know I was excited. I was like, a brand new fucking Star Wars movie. Let's go. And
Yeah, so was
as
I.
yeah, and
So
as soon as I saw the fucking trailer and saw that they got Harrison Ford to come back, I was like, for real? All right, I'm going to see it.
I
'Cause
think the thing that I enjoyed the film. I did enjoy it. I know for you, you had a different experience because you love Harrison Ford. Um, you just love that role that he did, right? You love the sarcastic type and everything.
Yes, the
So
sarcastic asshole. I was like, where's my sarcastic asshole when they killed where am I going to get that for the rest of this franchise now?
so for you, Han was it was a big deal, Han. For me, At the whole time I thought about the actor, as soon as I saw Han in the movie, I said he's gonna die by the end of this film. I just knew because I knew that he didn't want to be in the film, and they had to pay him a ton of money just to get him to come on board. So I was expecting that. It wasn't a
Money
surprise for
talks.
me at all.
Money
I
talks.
was surprised the way they went about it. I have to say was kind of dark. I was I wasn't expecting them to go that dark,
I know what
that
I
deep,
have to
that
do,
quick.
but I don't know
But
if I have the
man,
strength to do it.
yeah, like it really, the whole time I knew he was gonna die, I knew he was gonna kill him. I'm like, this is dark stuff. So I will say, I give credit to that, that you really see somebody fall to the dark side. Like all the way, you see them have just a tumble down the dark side stairs when you see when you see Kylo killing his own father. Like it's bad. But it's within the Star Wars realm. Like it's kind of what's happened historically. So I could understand. It just sucks if you're a Han fan, and everybody's a Han fan. Like who doesn't like Han Solo? So to see him go like that is so sad. I wanted something more heroic. Like I thought maybe he would make a last ditch stay and he would do something on a ship. I thought they're not going to destroy the Millennium Falcon because it's too big a deal. So maybe he would sacrifice himself to save some people, but that's not what they did. They just went and they used him towards Kylo's arc. So I could kind of understand. I liked the film. The only thing I really didn't like was the choreography. Because man,
Oh,
those
that
fight scenes. Oh
throne
man.
room scene. You
Oh
know what?
yeah,
I
the
just
throne
I
room.
just got to
God.
thank YouTube. I just got to thank YouTube for spoiling the movie for me so that Disney did not get my money on the last two films, because I walked out of Force Awakens excited. I thought it was a good movie. I had a little conflicting issues, but I was like, whatever. They might fix it next movie. And then, yeah, movie came out. I didn't have the money at the time to see it opening weekend, but YouTube recommended was flooded with Star Wars hate, and I was like, whoa, okay, fuck it. I gotta see what went wrong. And then I heard that you went and saw it.
I was looking forward to it because I remember everything about
You were
that
so
because
pissed. I had hearing you rage for like a good 15, 20 minutes. Like, he didn't warn me. He told me to go in. Said I had to
no,
see it
all
for
Ken
myself.
all Ken kept telling me you have to see it. And I would say, how was it? He would say, dude, you just have to see it. And I was like, that led me the impression that it was good.
Yeah, that it
And
was
I saw
good.
the
Usually when
trailer.
you hear that.
Yeah, yeah, you're like, oh, it's good. Because why would my friend that I've had since I was 13 or 14 years old tell me to go see something that I'm not going to enjoy? It would never happen.
Come
That was
on,
my
come on
logic.
now.
But not Ken. Oh, no. Oh, no. And I saw the trailer. The trailer looked amazing. Whoever put the trailer together, because the movie, The Last Jedi, when it comes to cinematography and the actual cam and the scenes, it looks amazing. The film is probably the best looking Star Wars movie of all time. Like it's J.J. Abrams, not J.J., but Ryan Johnson knows how to
And
really
then you
put
got
that camera in the right place.
and then you got Hermit Luke throwing a lightsaber over his back shoulder, and that's basically the whole situation with the film right there. It's like that you can include it in the same category. See it, throw it over the shoulder.
Yeah, it started like that, which I think the reason why people hated that is because they didn't want a clone of the original trilogy, but what they wanted was continuity. And with continuity, you have Luke, and the first thing you see concerning Jedi's and lightsabers in Episode 4 is you see Obi-Wan saying, "This is your father's lightsaber," right? And it was Ryan, was Allen Guinness, was it? I believe his name is the
Yeah,
actor who
I want to
played
say that's
Obi-Wan.
his name.
And he was the biggest actor in that film. He was a very prestigious actor. He was an excellent actor, right? This is a real actor. This is not somebody who you get along who's a new face, or someone with potential. This was a real actor they got for the film. So you have legendary scenes with him that are memorable. And you have him giving the lightsaber to Luke, and you see Luke looking at like a fanboy with reverence. He's a young man, and all these things are new to him. And to see that Luke, see him grow older, see him become a master, and see all the potential. And then not only that, we get works from LucasArts, like we get comic books and things like that that expand the story. So we have an idea of what Luke is like as a master. And then we see this. It's a complete 360. It's just nothing like when Obi-Wan meets Luke for the first time. Luke has a tremendous disregard for the lightsaber. He's like, "This is trash." That's that's what he's saying when he tosses it over his shoulder. This is trash. This is
The entire
useless.
thing was
Yeah.
trash. Mark Hamill, he looked so miserable when he had to go on all those fucking press tours with everybody. Almost like you could just see in his eyes he was just trying to say, "Everyone, I am sorry."
The thing about Mark
He
Hamill
was a
too is that
broken man.
Mark Hamill is an actor. Like he likes to act, man. He started on Broadway. Like this is a real actor also, and he wanted, I imagine, to go out with the bang with Luke and do a lot of different things. And they kind of took that. They had him on an island the whole movie, and then they have him on a few scenes on the planet Cray, I believe it was called, something like that. That sand planet, the salt planet, and it was just an illusion in the end. And so it takes away from the story. Luke didn't get his big finale like we wanted, and I'm
Yeah,
sure
like
Mark Hamill wanted that.
he was talking about with that first when he got the script for the first one. At the end when Finn goes down and then the lightsaber goes flying through the air, he thought that's when he was coming into the story. He thought he was the one grabbing the lightsaber, which made perfect sense, and the theater I kind of thought that's what it was too. But then when I saw Rey had grabbed it, I was like, "Wait, how did you learn how to do that?"
Well, anybody can grab a lightsaber. The thing is,
No, she force pulled it to herself. It like came out of the snow and went flying through the air, like by the
oh,
force.
that's right.
I
It
thought it was
did.
going to be Luke, and then it's Ray that has it. I was like, how did you? When did you train to learn how to do that? That's what my biggest issue was. That was what my issue was. I think throughout the entire, just hearing about that story and seeing the first one was just, how do you know how to do anything? This is stupid. I don't care if you're a Palpatine. Is what it ended up being. I don't care.
Yeah.
Luke was the son of one of the most powerful Jedi ever. He failed. He failed
You know
miserably. He
why?
looked like a
You,
fool during training.
but you know what I never understood about the Ray thing is that they could at least patch that up. They could have said she received training when she was a child, and then the Emperor did things so she could forget, or somebody did
Yeah, they had
something
so many
so she could
opportunities to
forget.
correct their mistakes.
Yeah, they had a lot of things they could have done in place to say she did get training, but they forced her to forget, or they did something to her memory, or she got injured. There's a lot of things, a lot of routes they could have gone down.
And then
And
Ryan
instead, they
Johnson
just said
enters
no.
chat.
Yeah, it was very bizarre. But I think this is a problem that any movie would face that's a trilogy if you switch directors in the middle of it. I don't think it's good unless the directors are working together. Maybe most of the times in Hollywood, when you see directors doing this, it's brothers. A lot of brothers work together. They might do the film. With the Avengers and Captain America, Winter Soldier, they had the Russo brothers. And they're famous for doing great films. They're fantastic. But they're two brothers, and if one of them gets sick or something happens, the other one can pick up the slack until the other brother comes back. But when you're switching directors for a whole film and you give that director permission to rewrite it, that's crazy because people they have egos and people are confident and people are going to say, "Oh, I'm going to make this mine. This is Star Wars. This is my opportunity to write what I've always dreamed of writing." But the problem is they just write over what the last guy was doing. And then they brought the JJ back, and now JJ's trying to piece together what he originally
Well,
wanted.
see, that's what I never
So
understood.
it's rough. It's
That's
so
what I never
rough.
understood about the thing is even with Ryan Johnson there. I mean, it wasn't long after that we heard that he was going to be getting his own trilogy. It's like, worry about your own story there. Why are you trying to break away so much from already one of a three trilogy?
But the reason why they gave him the trilogy, ironically, was because the film got good reviews from professional reviewers, which they liked. I'm assuming they gave good reviews because the cinematography. because it was so amazing, the camera angles and everything. But I think what it was, and they sold a lot of tickets. But it sold because of hype from the last movie. So the hype carried over. People wanted to see where they were going with it. But then they realized a lot of people saw it, yes, but a lot of people did not like it. There was a lot
See,
of divisiveness with it.
see, I'm
And
surprised that
then,
professional critics even have that much ground anymore. I could give two fucks what a professional critic has to say. I'm going to what the people have to say. When I go onto Rotten Tomatoes, I'm not clicking the professionals. I'm clicking the people to see what the people think of it.
I know, but if you think of it like this, though, if you're a studio, the studios and producers, they still hold those things in high regard. Because if you have somebody writing who's a
No, I
professional
could see
reviewer and
what
they
they mean
say
by like that
it's trash,
standpoint. I'm saying the professional critics liked Ryan's movie.
yeah,
That's
they were giving it good
great. The people
with
did
what the
not.
fans, yeah. No, I understand, but they're also looking at ticket sales and they're going, the ticket sales were amazing, but they don't realize, I think they're not thinking about, oh, well, the last film, this hype, it carries over. It's Star Wars. Star Wars is the most popular
Yes,
thing on
Star
the planet.
Wars will always sell. That's just the
Yeah,
gist of it.
yeah.
Everybody's got a fucking hard on for Star Wars.
I think it just took them a while, the people that were over at Disney, it took them a while to really look at how angry people were. Because at first it probably just seemed to them like it was a few angry people. Some people didn't like it. But then as that opinion grows, and you have people mailing you, I'm sure, messaging, they're protesting now buying your products. I'm not going to buy toys anymore. I'm not going to buy this. I'm not going to buy that. I'm done with Star Wars. You have people making decorations like that. That's how angry they are. That takes time to get to. I feel like the top brass, because they're not focused on that. They're focused on ticket sales. They're focused on, oh, we gotta get the next movie going. We gotta get everything, the ball rolling, and it takes time to get to them. All those things, and I think once it got to them, they changed things up because look, they brought JJ back, and then Ryan did not get his trilogy. Because let me tell you, if you would have gotten his trilogy, that's all YouTube would be. All YouTube would be talking about is how people hate that, they hate Ryan, and how they're not going to go see it. And it would just be a ball of negativity. So they knew they can't have that. You can't have that with your franchise. And also, they really didn't see how much damage it did until Solo, Star Wars movie came out, which is unfortunate because that movie was actually good. Um, it was,
Oh, you actually did see that one. I forgot about that.
yeah, I
I
saw
think
it,
you're
and
the
it
only
was.
person I know that went and saw it.
Well, I didn't see it in theater. I saw it. I don't remember when I saw it, but I did see it. I saw it after it came out in theater. Um, I remember being broke when it came out in theater, so I just saw it when it came to video or Netflix or something.
I feel like that's
And
how a lot of our stories start. But I was too broke.
I was too broke. Yeah, that's big facts. But I will say that was a good movie. The director did an incredible job. They had incredible actors. I think the guy who played Han, he did his best, but he's a young guy. He's not Harrison Ford. You're carrying a burden as is. But
I heard
I
he
think
I
he
heard he
did
did a
great.
decent job. That's what I heard about that.
He did. He did do a good job, considering he's not like Harrison Ford, because Harrison Ford's a more rugged guy. He's very witty, and you have this guy trying to be that. He's a young guy, and I think he did a good job of it. He definitely passed as a Han, as a solo, and I liked it. I liked the whole film. I like Woody Harrelson in it. Amelia Clark was in it. And then at the end, spoiler, but at the end you see Darth Maul in the movie,
Yeah, I
and
did
that
hear
was
about that.
that was incredible. Seeing Darth Maul, everything I liked, all the actors, the pacing, the action in the movie. Seeing Chewie and Han meet, and there was a train scene too. They had a lot of action scenes that were like a big blockbuster. It was like a big blockbuster movie with good pacing, good story, good actors. It had everything to make it great. This is why you really see the impact of The Last Jedi with how much people hated it, because that movie did terrible in the box office, and people, the reviews got bombed. Like the reviews were awful, and that
Yep,
movie was
yep.
not
There's the
looking
sirens again.
Oh yeah, welcome to Brooklyn.
Welcome to Brooklyn.
And not just that. Another thing I was gonna say is you even have people lying about the film, and you even have people exaggerating and lying and making things up, which I thought was going a little far. They said that I forget the actor's name. You know the friend of Han that he had won the Millennium Falcon. He won the
Lando.
Millennium Falcon and Lando Calrissian. That's his name. Well, Lando, they picked Childish Gambino to play him. He did a perfect job. Perfect. I mean, oh
I
my
might, you
god,
know what? I might actually give that film a watch then,
amazing.
because I have heard good things, but I was kind of like with
Oh,
everybody else when it came to the whole rebel against fucking Star Wars thing. As soon as I fucking heard about Luke, I was like, no, I'm not giving you any more money. I'm not
but
giving you any
here's the
more
thing:
views.
that movie was a good movie, but it was a victim of the anger
That's
of
what
the
I'm
Last
saying. That's why I
Jedi.
said, maybe I might try to watch it this weekend or something because, I'm past that. I don't give Star Wars the benefit of the doubt and just immediately go into something just because it's Star Wars like I used to. It's like ever since Disney took over and I've just seen the shit that they've put out, I'll wait to read a couple reviews from the people and see the public reception before I'll go and even bother giving Disney my money or views.
Well, I could understand. I mean, at this point in time, especially when you have a family and you have bills, life is so hard in general. Right now in the economy is so bad that anybody saying, I think I'm gonna wait to see what people say before I spend my money. That's just good decisions. Like, you're just doing things that you need to do to make it because you don't want to waste money on something, make a big event out of it, and then you don't enjoy yourself. So it's better to just do it like that, anyways. Which is how I'm approaching things now. I really wait
Never have
until.
more than two kids, folks. Some good
Oh
lessons
man,
from Papa Celtic over here.
it's
5
rough.
children is too many.
But it is interesting though how that movie was a victim. It is terrible. That movie was a victim of the circumstance, but it goes to show you how much people were angry about where Star Wars was going, the direction. But I will say, to Disney's credit, like this stuff with Dave Filoni taking over and John Favreau, it was great seeing John take over and seeing what he did with the Mandalorian, seeing what they did with Boba Fett. I know not everybody liked Boba Fett because the pacing book of Boba Fett, but I enjoyed the last episode. I enjoyed the end of it, and I enjoyed that they brought the Mandalorian in there, showed him off.
Well,
So
I'm saying I haven't seen a single episode of Boba Fett, so I can't really judge it. But
yeah,
I've
some people
heard,
like it, some people
yeah,
don't.
I've heard things about some definite story decisions that are in it that I have to agree I understand why they're upset or it's not believable or something of the such. I can see where it pissed people off with some of the complaints with Boba Fett.
And I know Boba Fett. The thing that we're going for is it was like a western. It felt like a western, and it felt like a western in a Star Wars universe, which I don't know. I think people aren't used to that.
And see, I've heard a lot of people gripe too about the actor choice for Boba Fett.
Yeah, but I mean that's the actor that George Lucas picked. He's been the actor for the longest time. Um, because he plays the clones, and he's much older now.
Yeah, he's much older, and that's where a lot of people have a gripe with because it's only supposed to take place
Yeah.
like so many years after he fell in after the events of like Return of the Jedi is what I thought it was, like a few years after. He should not be as old as he is, which a lot of people have a gripe with, and they said just because he played Django doesn't mean he has to play Boba.
I could understand. The only thing that would have made sense is if they would have gotten the only person they could have gotten that probably would have worked was if they could have gotten the kid who played his son, who played Boba
Yeah,
in
well. Then
in
I was
episode
thinking
two.
like
Maybe they could have gotten that
maybe he
kid
looks too
because he's not a kid
young.
anymore. Yeah.
I was thinking maybe he looks too young because in the events of what was it, episode 2, he was like what, 10 years old or something like that. So he'd probably be around. Yeah, he'd probably be around the age too.
He'll be around the age you would need him to be.
Yeah.
Because
So what is he doing right
'cause
now?
I only say that because I'm thinking of us. Like I was a little older than that kid when that movie came out. I might have been that kid's age actually when episode 2 came out. So that kid's around 30. Like he's 30 something more than likely. So I'm thinking 30 something, maybe he's 29 or 30 itself. But that'll be old enough. But then who knows? Maybe that kid's not acting no more. Maybe he wasn't interested.
Yeah, that's what I'm looking for right now. Daniel
I'll find
Logan
a new
was his
guy.
name.
Daniel Logan. I wonder what he looks like now.
Yeah,
His
I don't think the look definitely doesn't fit.
he's too handsome. Like that kid, you could tell that kid was gonna be like a handsome kid, a handsome guy. So it probably doesn't fit the rugged look of a Boba Fett. So I mean, that's why you gotta go with that guy. At least listen, they explained in the series why he had the scars he had because he was in that pit, the Sarlacc pit. What is it called? I don't
Yeah,
remember.
yeah, you got that right.
Yeah, that pit, and that pit, like it marked him for life. It burned his skin, the acid. So they have him looking different. So they kind of have an excuse that he looks older and more beat down. But people are still angry about it. I don't know how we talk about this because I don't understand
Okay,
the
see
anger.
that kid now? It says that he is the voice of Boba Fett in 6 episodes of the Clone Wars between 2010 and 2012, and in 2022, the Lego Star Wars: The Skywalker Saga. He plays the voice of Boba Fett in those games. In that game,
Oh, that's interesting.
I
They
think
kept it
maybe
tied to it.
maybe the look just doesn't fit, or maybe he didn't necessarily keep up with like his acting or anything. They just brought him back for the voice or some of the such. There's got to be some sort of decision why they didn't put him.
I have a feeling somebody in casting looked at him and looked at Boba Fett and they're like, that's a pretty boy. Like, we can't cast him for this role. That's probably what happened.
You can make a
And
pretty boy look rugged with the right makeup team.
I mean, yeah, but you'll have to swell him up a little and force him to grow a beard. It's rough. And also, you have that. That's a good actor. Like, I think the actor who plays Boba Fett, he's a good actor. He's the one that George picked. So, personally, I don't see the problem with him looking older. It's just time. It's what time does. Maybe they want them to CG him, but that's a lot of money. He's in every episode. He's the main character of the show. You can't CG him all the time.
Right,
So,
right. But I
you
mean,
know,
I think what
you know,
what other people's saying is they have a lot of gripes with the actor. His acting range is not great. He's old, doesn't fit the character's age, and
yeah.
they felt that okay, why should he have the main starring role of this character, this badass bounty hunter that everybody loves? Why does it have to be this man coming back again? That's what
Yeah.
people's that's what people's issues are. Is
They
that it?
won. They won. New one. I see.
Yeah, it was like it didn't have to be the actor who played Django. He's far too old now. His acting range they don't think is great. A lot of people are complaining about the show in a sense of he's a pushover and gets pushed around and stuff and things that story wise didn't make sense to some people because it's like this is supposed to be one of the most badass bounty hunters in the galaxy and just anybody will stand up to him.
Yeah, I think they wanted him to be more stern. I was surprised, but that's part of the story arc. And I mean, we do see him turn, though. We see him turn to his former self. The thing is, they're doing a story arc where he's, going from that guy, that Boba Fett, and
Well,
then he
this is
has like
stuff that I heard
a
early
whole
on. So I
journey.
don't I like I said, I'm not one to judge it. I'm just saying some of the complaints that I've heard. I did not know that he flipped a switch back to his old self. I'm just saying stuff that I've heard at like the beginning of the show when I first started hearing it come out and started hearing complaints about it.
Well, I don't want to spoil it for you, but what I will tell you is that what he does in the show is he essentially says, "I'm tired of all this." Remember, he comes out of the Sarlacc pit. He's been in there for I don't know how long. I think it was years or something. I don't know what the fuck it was. It was a long time. He was in there, and then he was in a coma essentially.
Yeah, I heard he's like trying to get his strength back or something of the such.
Yeah, so he comes out weak. Then he has a journey. He has a thing with sand people, and he has to relearn who he is, find who he is. A lot of bad things happen to him, and then he says, "I'm tired of this. I'm gonna end all this. I'm tired of the way things are. I'm tired of the way what's his name was, the one that Leia choked out. Um, I forget his name, the crime boss. You know,
One that Vader
uh,
choked out.
no, that Leia,
Oh, Leia
Princess
choked out.
Leia.
Oh, Jabba.
Yeah, Jabba.
Where's
Yeah,
your mind at today?
I don't know, but Jabba, yeah, he was tired of all that. He's tired of the crime syndicates and all that. So he says, I'm gonna change everything. Essentially, what he tries to do is take control, make people happy, so that way they could stop, all the violence. And he say, I'm gonna change things, try and make it more about business and all that, which we see and historically happens. Some people try to do that, but nobody likes that he's doing that. So he ends up going through hell, because that's a place that's all crime. They've talked about it since the beginning of Star Wars, since Episode 4. It's a terrible place. Even Obi-Wan tells that to Luke in the very first Star Wars movie. So it's always been a shithole, Tatooine. Like it's just, that's what
Yeah,
it is.
yeah.
It's
I
riddled with
mean,
thugs, and it sucks. And you can't have Boba Fett change it too much, right? Because you still want that atmosphere. But there's still the story arc, and eventually he goes back to being a badass again.
oh,
And he
and
does some crazy things in that
another
last episode.
another big thing that a lot of Star Wars fans are having problems with. Why do we keep having to go back to desert scenery? It's been overdone to shit. There's an entire galaxy. Find new places to have these shows. People are getting tired of it. They're
I
like,
will
it's the
say,
same setting. Why is it always on Tatooine?
yeah.
They did it for
Or
the
they
old.
then no, then they remember this. They did Dantooine. I think it's called Dant. No, not Dantooine. It's Dracu, Dracu, wherever the place that Ray is from, is basically Tatooine in a different setting. Like
Wait, what?
yeah,
I thought he
remember
hated
Ray?
sand. This doesn't make any sense, Disney. Help it make sense.
I hate sand, but they make a lot. But I'm gonna tell you something. Be honest with you. I think the reason why they do deserts is because it's easy to film.
Yeah, it's easy and
It's
it's
easy to
cheap.
shoot.
It's easy and it's
It's
cheap.
easy
And
to shoot.
and it's like
Yeah.
Disney, as much money as you fucking have, you should be blowing my mind with some of the scenery that you have. But yeah, Boba Fett, Obi-Wan, uh those are the two most recent big shows, and Mandalorian. They're all in desert planets. Fuck hell.
Well, at least Obi-Wan they had some great studios that they did. Great
Oh yeah, I
scenery,
mean, and yeah, and
with the
Obi-Wan
Imperial
I did
bases.
see yeah, a good portion of that. I hadn't completely finished it yet.
And then
Um
they showed Nashada, I think, which is it may be was it Nashada? I think it was Nashada, where they had him looking for Leia. He got Leia back, and so that was a thing.
yeah,
And that
I
was a
will
place
say
they
that
showed. So there was some variety.
Obi-Wan made sense cuz he was supposed to be on Tatooine.
Yeah. But yeah, I understand the sand places. I do want to see different places too. There was there's a series on Disney Plus that's about clones. It's a special unit of clones. I forgot the name of it. But basically in that series they show so many different places. Like these clones go everywhere. They go everywhere, man. And so many different planets, things like that. And I think that's something that's easy to do in animation. But then if you have to do it in real life, it becomes a logistical issue. It's like, okay, how much time do we have for production? How much money do we have? How many places are we going to? Like, it becomes an issue. So I don't know. That's the thing. Hopefully they don't pick Desert Saints for every Disney Star Wars show. That would be nice.
Again, they need to stop thinking of time. Time needs to come out of their decisions, because let me tell you something
I
right now. Star Wars fans are fed up, fucked to the point that we don't. I think it's to the point they don't care how long something comes out. Just make it fucking good. Make it make
yeah.
sense, because I swear to God, everything that Disney puts out when it comes to Star Wars has things that don't make sense, or it's like, okay, how did this happen? It's never explained. It's like, make your script, your story make sense before you put the shit out, because fans are trying to fans, I think, are pretty much tired of the sense of trying to come up with the backstory for Disney, because they're like, oh well, maybe this happened or something like that. It's like, no, why should I have to figure out your story? You're telling me your story, make it make sense.
I mean, I could understand that way of thinking. I think that's why they brought Jon Favreau in, because Jon Favreau helped build the Marvel Cinematic Universe, and he pieced all that together. He was the first one to make those films and make everything work. I know Kevin Feige was there too, and he was like the grand architect of it all. But I think that's what they wanted with Jon Favreau, bringing him to Star Wars and letting him and Dave Filoni like set up a universe. So I think it's gonna get better. It's just gonna take time, and some lot of building they're gonna do. I also think people are tired of seeing the time frame between Episode 3 and Episode 4. I think people are getting sick of that. You know what I mean? They're
Hmm.
tired of that whole thing being used. And I think, but people wanted Obi-Wan. Like I loved the series Obi-Wan. At first I was like, huh? But they really brought back on that last episode. They really sold it to me. Um, so I think now that that's done, they should pick a different era. You know, they'll probably do that once they're done with the Mandalorian. I don't know how many seasons they're gonna do more. I know they announced another season, so we got that coming out. But after that, hopefully they go back in time. Maybe we see some Sith, some Jedi from back in the day, because that would really, I feel like that would pump life back into fandom, right? Everybody would be excited, see big battles again, see all that. Maybe we see
Are the Sith even still mentioned anymore, or are they just a thing of the past now in Star Wars?
well, that's the struggle of that time period between Episode 3 and Episode 4, is that you just have Vader and Palpatine to work with. And you don't really hear them talking about the Sith. All they talk about is the Empire, because that's what the Sith are now. Now they're the Empire. It's Palpatine, Vader. So I think to get the Sith, you have to go back further. Like that's the only way to get them. Because remember George Lucas, he said the prophecy. They had the prophecy. The chosen one would destroy the Sith. And so now what we need to have, if they go forward in time, we need to have a different enemy. Maybe like a twisted
Yeah, but
Jedi
at the
or
same time,
something
I
else.
think about how it's supposed to be galaxies when it comes to Star Wars, and it's like you can't tell me that, and then the entire fucking galaxy that there's not at least one dark force user who started
But
figuring this shit out and trying to find things themselves. Yes, they have the rule of the Sith. Okay, there's a master and there's the apprentice or whatever. The rule of two is the big thing when it comes to the Sith. But you can't tell me that there's not somebody out there who fucking just grew up and started figuring out that they had some, sort of force ability and then started going around to try to find out more information.
I could understand. I've thought that too, and I think that's how you can bring like cults and different things you could build in, and you have like these dark force users, but they wouldn't really be Sith at this point because there's nobody to teach the Sith anymore. There's no Darth Plagueis. There's no Sith left. So since there's no Sith left, what you can have is these dark acolytes trying to put something together, and you can have them fight force users in the future. But you can't make up too much because this is the thing that got people angry about Rey, is that they said, "Oh, Rey can use the force and she's got all these things." Fans don't like that. They don't like when you bring in characters with no training, but there's nobody to train evil. So they have to figure out on their own now. So I think you have to go forward in time, and then if you go forward in time,
Yeah, but
that's very
I
different.
remember
You have
like
to
I
world build.
remember like back in the video games though, there was always Sith temples. It's like why is that not a thing of existence anymore?
Well, it still exists, but I
Like,
think there's a lot of things that have happened bad. Also, a lot of plants have been destroyed. Is Korriban still? Does it still exist? Because yeah, like they destroyed a lot of planets, man. I don't know what exists anymore. You know.
I don't think anybody knows what exists anymore and what
Yeah,
doesn't.
I'm sure there's a list of planets, but a lot of planets have been destroyed. So, Dantooine's been destroyed. Coruscant, I'm pretty sure Coruscant has been destroyed. That got destroyed. So it's like, how many planets do you have like to work with from the lore? From the original planets. It's rough. It's really rough. Korriban may not exist. there's probably not a lot of planets that you can put. And it is one galaxy. And so it's supposed to be one giant galaxy. I'm pretty sure if you look online, like, there's a map of the galaxy of Star Wars. And then that's why they talk about the Outer Rim. Because they say the Outer Rim hasn't been fully explored because it's dangerous. And but there's planets that exist there. Like the Outer Rim is a gold mine for their lore. Like George Lucas was really a genius because he said this is the Outer Rim. It hasn't been explored. Basically left a huge world building tool. You could one day say, oh, well, we build a route and we have a bunch of traders find a route through the Outer Rim and they routed everything. And now you introduce a bunch of races, you introduce a bunch of different things, maybe cults, all these different things, maybe a new form of Jedi or a new form of Force user that's not the Sith. You could do so much
Yeah,
in world
there's
building. There's so much that's
I
out
don't-
there that's
the
available.
it's supposed to be a huge galaxy, but it feels very small and always has.
I mean, it does, especially when you destroy multiple planets in one film. It becomes very difficult to do certain things. But I think you remember Coruscant, that scene in Star Wars where Queen Amidala is making her case, to everyone. You see all the politicians. All those politicians represent different races and different planets.
Mm-hmm.
So that lets me know that George Lucas's vision of Star Wars was
Massive,
many planets,
massive.
many races. So this stuff
You just
we have
gotta
not
you just gotta
seen.
take a look at
Yeah,
actual galaxies and billions, trillions of fucking stars and planets
yeah,
in
it's
each one.
ginormous. And even there's another scene too where Obi-Wan goes into the library and he's trying to find a planet, and then he's like, "This planet is in the records." And then she says, That's not possible. All the planets are on the records." He says, "But this planet isn't." He investigates further and he finds out he's right, and he has to find the planet. And he goes to find a friend of his to find out where it's at and investigate. And that's all of episode 2. It's based around that. So they have a ton of planets that are untapped and they keep referencing it. So they have a lot to work with. They do. It's just flushing out. Like, do you want to be the guy to flush out, though? That's a tough job. I don't envy the people who have to do that. I think that's why George Lucas was like, "There's the Outer Rim, and there's all these galaxies, all these races. Figure out." Like he didn't want to
Figure
deal
it
with
out.
that, because it's tiring, man. Like imagine what George Lucas was thinking. Like he said like it's exhausting. Imagine you go through all this work, you world build, find a bunch of new planets, a bunch of new races, a bunch of new armies or factions or governments, and then they hate your movie and they're like, "We hate it, we hate it." That's heartbreaking. That's so crushing. Okay, and then people were like that with George when he was world building, especially after episode 1. All they talked about was Jar Jar Binks. You could imagine George Lucas was thinking, out of the whole film, this is all you're talking about is Jar Jar. For God's sake, like I could just imagine. He was like,
I don't give a
yeah,
fuck
he
when
was
anybody
like,
says I love Jar Jar.
yeah, he's like, "This is terrible. I can't believe this." You know, I think that's why episode 3 he was so focused on action, just Anakin and Obi-Wan and keep it simple, and he stuck to that, and people love that one.
That was
So
fantastic. But
yes, it
yeah, I
was.
never understood bringing in, different planets and races and stuff like that, bringing any sort of heat, because it's like, it's supposed to be the entire galaxy. Everybody in this galaxy is capable of planet travel, pretty much.
The galaxy's big. I'm pretty sure there's an official Star Wars map. If you were to search it, and they have everything that's been presented so far. And I mean, to J.J. Abrams' credit, to Ryan Johnson's credit, they did bring more planets into the fold. They did, but at the same time, people were just so angry about the films. And this is similar to what happened with George, and that's why plan building is so hard.
Yes.
It's so difficult. Like you could just imagine. I wouldn't want to be the guy having to fill in the gaps because it's difficult.
Right, right.
And then
Well,
if you have to write a story and fill in the gaps, oh, it's awful.
well, god damn it, everybody and their mother is trying to reach me right now by phone. I got to start getting some lunch going for me and the daughter here, so I think we're gonna go ahead and call this the episode for now.
All right, and it was Star Wars. I love it.
Yes, this
I
one,
love
yeah,
it,
just a
man.
complete Star Wars edition episode coming here.
That's right.
We will catch you all next week.
That's right. Peace out.